Mythos Busters, investigating the mystery, monsters, and madness of Arkham Horror, the card game.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Well, I mean, I guess that's a welcome back to you guys who are with me, and hello, and we missed you. We missed you. I didn't prepare an opening speech, and that would have been a good idea, but that would have definitely been against the spirit of everything we've built up to this point. So we're winging it. I'm Sean, and I'm here with the full crew. We got Scott.
Hello.
We got Ian.
Hello.
And we got Justin.
Hello.
And we're back in the saddle again.
Feels good.
Boys, it feels good to come out of retirement. We had a very good and productive break. Mm-hmm. And as I was talking about before we actually got recording fully here, is that it wouldn't, I don't know, it's so emblematic and it honors the relationship we've had with FFG marketing, which is completely one-sided. They don't think about us. That we finally schedule all of our return stuff and we're like, cool, we got a preview, we're coming back. And then they drop the biggest announcement in the history of the game. And we're getting new core and chapter 2, and I still don't know what all that means, but boy, it's exciting. It's exciting. We're riding on the tail end of the wave of community hype, I imagine.
So let's wait to talk about it.
The logical choice.
Yes. So the point being, we had definitely already planned a little bit of a just chill, setting expectations, checking in after the break type episode for you tonight. And we're probably not going to talk a whole lot about Arkham. And we thought it would be way more appropriate to dive into the new announcement and all of the speculation that we will spin from that after we do our preview for the new core set next week. So check that out next Tuesday. It's scheduled in the Discord, which most people who are here are in the Discord. They will know. All right, so let's just kind of hop into it. Let's talk about first, I guess, what coming back ultimately will mean for us and for all of our wonderful community members. So I guess we did talk a decent amount about why we took the break, kind of succinctly. We ended up spinning out so much of our stuff that we just kind of hit a point where we needed to walk away. We delivered on a couple of BusterCons, and it took a little bit of a toll, and we needed a nice long rest. So I guess kind of talking about it was interesting because when we started talking about coming back and what that means, we kind of wanted to talk about what does Mythos Busters look like if we were to invent it now, because I think one of the things that kind of became a problem for us as content creators and as fans is that we had just kind of grown this beast to the point where it kind of became unwieldy. We started as a podcast. We did a bunch of expanding from there. We've obviously got Twitch. We're posting to YouTube. We're doing a lot of community organizing. And it just kind of became a thing where the podcast always was a central touch point for us, right? Mm-hmm. Is that fair to say?
For sure.
Like as far as what we consider to be like our main output as far as our content goes. Mm-hmm. And, as our lives have become increasingly busy, even beyond the busyness that, participating in this community has brought into it, scheduling all four of us twice a month for 3-hour blocks became a bit of a thing in addition to everything else that was going on. So, and beyond that, like we started to build, we had a very specific format for our podcast. We had the check-ins and the patron stuff, and even beyond what we wanted to do specifically that week, we had like probably a half hour of content that was just our normal stuff, right?
At
that's
least.
that's as long as a lot of podcasts are.
Yeah.
So I think it bears saying kind of at the top here that we're looking to establish a new paradigm. We are Mythos Busters, but I don't think the podcast as it existed is going to be our central focus anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think as it existed in that exact form, absolutely correct.
Yeah. Yes. Well,
at
yes.
chapter
As
2.
Comfort Noise points out, and Anti-Mark on McCabe. You get, and Patrick, God, all three of you are on the
Very
same joke at
fitting.
the same time. Join brains. Yeah, so it was actually very appropriate that this came as the one part of the timing that worked for us. So this is going to be chapter 2 of the Mythos Busters. So we're kind of going to look to establish a new paradigm. We definitely are all committed to working on supporting this community and continuing to create various forms of content for it. But at this time, it's going to be a little bit of a work in progress, what that actually looks like. There's some stuff that I never really, and I'm sure I could say this for each of you too, that there's a lot of ideas I had in the last like 2 years of the podcast rolling where I was like, oh, it'd be really cool if we could do that. We already had so many plates spinning that we were confined to what we already had going. Right. So picking up a lot of those old ideas and I'm so sorry for any of you who are going to be sad about this. I do think it will serve us to start doing some content that is not 3 hours long, and is in fact a bite-sized portion of what you normally expect from us.
And I'm sure there still will be some that go that 2 to 3 hours, right? Like, we're not abandoning that completely. It's just like, hey, you know what? Sometimes we'll do like a 25-minute video on something, or whatever makes sense, whatever we're passionate about. And I think that's a big thing that we talked about is we want to be passionate and excited about the stuff we're doing, because that's what allows you, or allows us in general, people, to continue doing what they're doing, is when they're excited and passionate about it. And we don't want to risk, not saying that we lost that before, but it definitely, at least for me, it felt like a little bit of work. And I'm just excited to come back and play.
I mean, I'm willing to say that at a certain point, our own structures that we built kind of became creatively confining, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And they're good, and it's nice to have a structure and predictability, and you always kind of have to ride the line between consistency. But at a certain point, there's new cool ideas we want to entertain, and we had kind of locked ourselves out of doing that. So
Nick asked if length of content is reduced, is quantity of content increasing, or is it still weekly/bi-weekly cadence? Asking as a fan. Before you answer, I did read that way too fast, and it's also Nick, so I read it differently. I thought he said, if length of content is reduced, is quality of content increasing?
I also read it that way. I thought he was taking a dig at us.
Like, absolutely not. No increases in quality.
Yeah.
Well, that's a really fair question, and I, unless any of you guys thinks differently, I don't know that we have a definitive answer to that question yet. We're all coming back and kind of figuring out what this needs to look like for us going forward in such a way that we can continue to do it and not burn ourselves out, and continue to be excited. And, when we have a new idea, like actually have a queue of projects that we're working on where that can be fit in. So I don't know. So let's kind of talk about it. So the podcast RSS is going to stay up, and it is still going to be fed content somewhat regularly. Boy, I wish I had a better expectation to set than that. So when we can, we are definitely going to sit down and do our normal friends in a room chatting about a game we all love style of podcast that has been the thing that we've done, right? But I do think it is reasonable to set the expectation that that is not going to happen twice a month for 3 hours at a time.
Yeah.
But that said, it will happen occasionally. In addition, we're going to be doing more Twitch streaming. Like, for instance, okay, this is the last time I'm going to complain about it. I promise. Last time. if we had come back before the big announcement had happened, I would have loved to just hop on Twitch stream and talk about it, go through the article, clip videos, and just kind of be way more reactive. Because I do think that one thing we've struggled with, just because we've had to schedule 4 adult people to record our podcast generally, timeliness has not at this point been our forte. So many times we'll either have the situation where some big thing will drop and then we're recording 2 weeks later and then it like drops another week later, so it's super old at that point, or we'll record, release, and then a new thing will drop one day later, and like no matter how we try to aim at it, it's still a moving target that is pretty hard to hit.
I do like the idea of us being able to, like, something pops up and we throw up the like the bat signal, but we'll call it the bus signal, and whoever, it's like, hey, who's available this evening? Okay, let's go. Like, and I don't know, just make a stream about like this announcement. Perfect example, like you said, Sean, right? Or announcing a new cycle or something. It's like, hey, let's get on and chat with people.
We still need to call it the bat signal to be super confusing about it being Arkham.
Yeah.
We must.
Yeah, it is the bat signal.
Yeah, so I mean that is a good example of the sort of thing that we'd like to do. And like I don't know about you guys, and we're going to try to get all of us set up to stream so that it's not all, hinging on me, but sometimes if I've got an evening where I've got nothing else going on and I want to build a deck, it'd be really cool to just hop on Twitch and be like, "Hey, yo guys, I've got this deck idea. Let's sit and flesh it out." Or some more appropriate wording of that basic idea.
Watch Sean play with his deck.
Yep.
That's what I heard.
It's my favorite pastime.
On stream. Yeah. Now introducing the Mythos Busters OnlyFans.
Yeah, that'll come eventually. I know people are talking about the quantity, but I think we're not purposefully trying to be evasive. Well, a little bit, but it's more so that I think the content is going to dictate the quantity and the frequency. Like, if Core 2 comes out, then I can imagine there's like a flood of videos coming from us because we're all excited. And if it's like, I don't know, like holiday season and there's not much going on, maybe there won't be as much. So it's just not locked in as much to a frequency. It's just it's really like we're trying to have everything driven by the content and not the other way around.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, is when we have an idea, we'll execute on that, and then we will post it to whatever of our venues makes sense, right? When we do a strategy discussion on Twitch, that probably is easy to port over and make available on the podcast RSS too. And things of that nature. I also personally would really like to get into a little bit more written and edited content. That's something I've kind of been itching to do for a while, and it just kind of never fit in our schedule. So I've got some ideas. Of course, now we're gonna have to do some new player content on top of that.
I remembered when we were going through this and had written content. I was like, yeah, that sounds great. I'm like, oh damn. I wrote an article years ago and never published it because it was remember I was like, hey guys, I want to try this, like, for getting into Barkham and what you should know. We got busy. It just, I don't even know where it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's the sort of thing where ideally you're going to see more bite-sized content, more deliberate content, and less of a, I think kind of what we did before was that we were a regular news and hype conglomerate, right? And we just plugged along and we talked about whatever was kind of almost mostly current at that time. And yes, I do agree. It's a very exciting time to be thinking about the game, and we're gonna have a little period here now after this announcement where there's gonna be wild speculation and hopes and dreams and lots of card previews coming out. We've got 2 next week, and I think that the only ones that have been doled out so far are Seeker cards. Am I remembering that correctly? So
I think that's what's going on.
We've got a lot to roll through. So I guess that leads us to the point of if you would like to continue following us, you've got the RSS for the podcast itself. Go follow us on Twitch. Check us out on YouTube. the algorithm hates us. Like because we've posted so many different things, and like so much of it is like long form plays and, you know, our 3-hour podcast episodes. The YouTube algorithm doesn't necessarily like to play with our content very well. So if you'd like to see it, just, you know, pop up to the channel every once in a while. You'll see new things, you know, as we make them. But unfortunately, I don't think the YouTube you know, algorithm is going to push it in front of too many people too often. But ring that bell, though. Ring that bell. Like, subscribe, ring that bell, because it will ping you when we put something up, at least.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Smash
I'm a
that
real
like
YouTuber,
button.
I promise.
Oh.
Smash that like button. But yeah, so we're going to have stuff on YouTube as we have so far. We're still going to be here on Twitch. You know, I do hope that we continue to be able to play Arkham on Twitch, because that is always a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you'll see campaigns as much. I guess that kind of remains to be seen. Maybe this is a little bit of a tangent, but I think it's a worthy one. I, personally, in the Arkham I've been playing basically since last BusterCon, I've been playing a lot more standalone. I've got a few campaigns going when I'm actually playing with other people, but for the most part, on my own, I am playing standalone. I'm doing deck testing, and it's far less like, I don't know, it's far less like long-term commitment, right? Which is kind of nice.
Now, when you say standalone, do you mean dedicated standalone scenarios or playing campaign scenarios as a standalone, or both?
Yes. Mostly the ones that are intended for standalone. Yeah. But there have been a couple cases where I'm deck testing with the idea that I will eventually bring this deck to a campaign, and in that case, I have pulled out specific scenarios for that specific campaign I'm preparing for, and setting them up in their standalone mode, and testing them that way. So I could see that being a lot easier to do on Twitch as just kind of a cool, like, you know, vignette of okay, this is what a peek into this campaign with this deck might look like. Mm-hmm. Nick says test all your decks against standalone Wages of Sin. No, thank you. Love the idea. Okay, Nick got dragged into a campaign that I was playing with my friend Kip, right? So we were playing TCU, and we were the three of us trying to get to a game together. And I was like, oh, hey, we're already playing Arkham, Nick. We can just drop you in for this scenario. We'll play, and then, you know, we'll just drop you out afterward, and you'll have this fun little cameo in our campaign. And I very deliberately did not tell him what scenario we were on in TCU. Because it was Wages of Sin.
Probably wise.
And it went horribly. As one might expect. But yeah, so anyway, that's kind of one of the things that I was kind of thinking about as far as Twitch goes, is it pains me how many unfinished campaigns we have out there, right? Mm-hmm. Where we started it and we didn't bring it all the way through to the end for various reasons. Mm-hmm. Most of them just being like something else popped up and we had to devote time to that.
We finished a decent amount through TNA. Like,
oh yeah, I mean,
yeah.
There are finished ones out there too, but the unfinished ones are the ones that scream in my brain at night.
Well, and life is different now, so there's going to be more. I think that's part of it. We're not saying we would never do it, but committing to that we would do it is just not. That's just setting everybody up for unmet expectations. So it's a maybe, but a lot of other content in different forms or different Arkham.
And the thing I always liked about standalone, just even when you're not streaming or doing content, but especially when you're doing content, is because you can do weird decks and try those out. So, like, personally, I think that makes for good potential content, and just like, oh, let me try out this random deck that I'm never going to actually build through a campaign. Because, like, there's some standalone decks that you probably would, like, never actually get to in the course of a campaign, because, like, it's not going to survive long enough for you to get that XP, because it's so janky.
Because the level 0 would just fall like a house of cards.
Yeah.
Like, Ian, I want to play that Jenny deck you built with the clock.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like, that one is a perfect example of a deck you could never build for a campaign, but is absolutely wild in standalone.
Nick asks, any news about the return of the fan favorite series Achievement Hunter? Nick, if you would like to come back and finish Preston in the Gathering,
Preston
expert, you are The door is open for you, pal.
We should just have him sit
No
there and he
Preston
can't
Preston.
leave until he wins with Preston.
Yeah.
Nick is going to torch the game now as a whole.
That's it. Game's dead. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got the podcast, we've got Twitch, we've got YouTube. We'll kind of be in our normal spots. And then I think another big question is what's going on with BusterCon, the keystone event that drained the last of our gas a couple of years ago. So Justin, since that one's nearest and dearest to your heart, why don't you comment on that?
That is nearest and dearest to mine. BusterCon's coming back. It's going to look a little different, but I frame it as BusterCon is coming back because the heart and soul of it, what everybody expects it to be, is going to be there. The difference is that instead of the 4 of us running it and only 2 of us being based in Minnesota, and thus, boy, was that a lot of work. Now we're bringing a dozen or so friends with us. The crew that put together ArkhamCon 25 while we were in our break here, we are partnering with them. I've been framing it as we're basically taking the BusterCon framework and then slotting in this whole team of people who know what they're doing, and they're awesome to work with. And so it's going to be really the best of all worlds, right? Like, it's the heart and soul of BusterCon. It's all the great stuff from ArkhamCon, from the fun stuff they iterated on. Scott, how did you say it in our meeting when we were meeting with those folks for the first time? It was like their con was like standing on the shoulders of giants, and now we're going to stand on their shoulders. So it's like giants all the way down or something.
Yeah, just a giant stack of giants. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be really good. We're having some really good conversations. I don't want to say too much because we're still nailing some stuff down. The one thing I'm going to let y'all know, though, is we are making a slight shift to how we talk about it. Again, it's a mix of BusterCon is awesome. We're always going to have our Mythos Busters community front and center, always prioritize patrons because they help us fund some of it. That is not changing. Again, it is BusterCon, but we're gonna call it ArkhamCon. We are shifting the name. It's a mix of both the recognition for the people who kept it going in that year when we were gone, and to recognize that it is for the broader community as well. So yeah, it's if you like BusterCon, it's still there for you. If you like ArkhamCon, it's still there for you. Again, it's all in that same continuation. So. We're doing some work in the background on dates, location, more to come. There's much more to come. We will let you know here first as soon as we can, but it's coming back. So just be ready. It's going to be great.
And, I think it bears saying that going to that was kind of an ethereal experience for me at first, right? Because we poured so much sweat and blood into those first 2 cons. And I'd like to think we set the template, but the ArkhamCon team picked it up and did a fantastic job. The whole thing was just a joy to attend and see that that momentum that we started still continued, and the community was still being served, and I just got to play Arkham. It was so cool.
Yeah, they did such a good job. They did. I mean, like, I know we've told them that, but I also want to call it out here. Separately from a working group where we're working with them, like, if y'all are hearing this, like, again, we don't say it enough, maybe, like, you did a good job. Super appreciate all the effort you put into it. So it was fun. So now we're bringing together the best of all worlds, because we've never had a BusterCon with a full team behind it. We've never had an ArkhamCon with a full Buster structure behind it. So the next one is, we're Voltroning the crap out of this as we juggle it, shoot from the hip a little. It's pretty good.
How many more can we get in there? Mississippi manatee. It's the manatee. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's exciting to see that that's going to be continuing. We don't really have a whole lot by way of announcements for it at this time because it's obviously still in its very early planning stages. But stay tuned because as mentioned, you will hear about the details through the Mythos Busters channels first. And then I suppose it also bears talking about Dissonant Voices, which has kind of become my baby through this whole thing. So we did finish up through Hemlock before we quit, and now we've got the Drowned City to go. I'm so excited that those blurbs are a little bit shorter now. Do not get me wrong, the long narrative was never something that like offended me until I had to record every word of it. So Nick's got my back there, and thanks to Nick and Duke for that. So sometime in the near future, now that we're up and rolling again, we're going to get going on doing Dissonant Voices for Drowned City. I know Ian still owes you Fortune and Folly.
I do.
Ian's
I'm just procrastinating on having to pronounce the names of the own characters I created. So yeah.
I'm so glad I don't have to. It's karmic justice that falls on you, my friend.
Yeah.
What was the campaign where like a bunch of us recorded different ways of pronouncing the one guy's name?
Oh, that was TCU with Yosef.
Was it that?
I think I said like major, and then someone else said Meyer, and I'm still not sure what the correct pronunciation
Yeah,
is. I'm
that
pretty
sounds
sure
right.
I asked MJ at some point, and she just shrugged at me. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I never had to say it out loud. You just read it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So that's underway. But as a reminder, all of those entries are available to our patrons, and that all the information on how you access those are available on our Patreon. So check that out. So anything else we want to talk about as far as like what hopes and aspirations for new content we hope to do?
Did you talk about collaboration?
Oh, no, I didn't. Yeah. So that's really one thing for me that we lost in the shuffle of getting so busy with our own stuff is I feel like in the early life of Mythos Busters and Arkham, because we started with it, we had a lot of fun getting to like participate in collaborating and even just consuming other people's content in the community, right? We made really good friends with Drawn to the Flame, Curse Their Souls Forever.
Blood Feud's back on, baby.
And it's really something that I started to miss because we got to a certain point where like not only does content creation encroach on the time that you would normally be spending just playing the game as a normal player, right? Then on top of that, content creation and trying to play the game in and amongst that gets in the way of just like participating in the broader community, or at least it did for us. So one thing I would really like to add back to the palette is doing some collaborations of various flavors with other content creators in the community. So I don't know if there are any of you guys out there who happen to be listening and are Mythos Busters fans and have any ideas you want to throw at us. Boy, I am so ready for them. Ideas are great when I don't have to think of them.
My only request is that we are able to name Mythos Busters when we do something, not like, hey, it's Scott from the community. I like
That's a big ask.
I like collaborations where I can say, hi, I'm Scott from Mythos Busters. But,
So look out for that. I'm really hopeful that we can kind of add some more variety to the plate in breaking away from that like kind of rigidity of the format that we had before. Add some really fun variety. Nick says, "Bring back bold but true." That I mentioned this to my wife the other day. There was a lost episode of Mythos Busters where everything went wrong. This game is actually kind of fun by its nature, but it just didn't work for us on the day, and then the recording got trashed, and it's lost to time. So, and Nick was winning. Yeah, so you say.
He says
I have
was
no
winning.
memory of
Yeah,
that.
I'm not signing us up for this yet, but one idea that I think would be fun, again, because we're just ideating right now. We'll see what happens. No promises. So Chad, who is the head librarian, also a lawyer, think we could do a fun build on some sort of court theme. Or I know there was, like, you guys did your like COTR.
Oh, there exists a format.
And like I know there's that format, but I think we could build something different as well. And boy, we could get into the weeds, and that could be fun.
Sean, that was like my favorite segment on the Lord of the Rings, on Cardboard of the Rings, was the you and Brian being lawyers. It was
Brian
the
was the
best.
judge, so the whole thing
sorry.
was fraught, right? The whole thing was fraught. Yes.
yeah.
So for any of you old heads over here who listened to Cardboard of the Rings back in the Lord of the Rings day, we did a segment called "The Law Offices of Sean and Brian," in which me and Brandon acted as lawyers, and Brian was the judge who ultimately ruled on the validity of our various arguments. So it was improperly named, weirdly executed, but it did end up being one of the most fun things we ever did on that podcast. So it'd be interesting to entertain something like that again, for sure.
And then speaking of entertaining other ideas, I mean, we talk about content creators, but I think it's been a while since we've thrown out a, like, hey, does anybody have other thoughts of things they'd like to see from us?
Yeah, for sure. Like, as mentioned, I love ideas that I don't have to come up with myself. So if there's anyone out there who's like, man, it'd be really cool if Mythos Busters did X, as long as it's not OnlyFans, we will be there for you.
Well,
Well,
All right, well, let's maybe not take it all the way off the table, but
let's not take anything off the table quite yet.
Nick, I'd love to see another musical episode.
Don't tempt us,
Oh,
Frodo.
to get on the fast track to burning ourselves
I
out again.
know.
That was so much work in a short period of time.
Oh,
But-
the
But
final edit of
that
that
is-
took me 25 hours to edit that.
Oh my gosh.
That was. Remember, I did it in 2 days because my wife and kid were out of town. And I was just like, I'm finishing this episode.
But worth every minute.
Oh,
for
boy.
any in Atreides, you might be a newer listener, but yes, for any of you newer fans is a self-aggrandizing term to use here. For any of you new participants in Mythos Busters content, we did a full-ass musical episode, and it's
Yeah.
out there. I want to say it was episode like 67.
I think it's actually episode 69.
Oh, is it really? Nice.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. It's.
Yeah, I don't know,
that-
but I feel like it's been long enough that we might at some point just do another listening party for that, right? Because those were fun when we dropped that. We
That was fun.
had a couple
Yeah.
of sessions where we
Yeah, it's been a while.
played it in Discord for people
Yeah.
to live react to. So that might be fun to revisit. It's been long
Yeah,
enough,
because
right?
what was the deal? We weren't able to put it on one of the platforms because we didn't want it to get flagged.
I think
Well,
it was-
it's on YouTube, but it got claimed, so it's not like we make money off our YouTube
Yeah.
videos anyway. But
Yeah.
Well, what we need to do too is collect. We need a B-sides album with all the random songs Scott made for TNA and other things, because there's a bunch of those that should be collected into one place.
honestly, Mythos Busters Greatest Hits might be a thing we need to do at some point. Because yeah, I feel like Scott, you probably had a whole ass additional album worth of songs
Probably.
that you did specifically
Yeah.
for our Twitch streams, right?
Oh man, back when I had free time, that was
I know.
that was fantastic. I recently re-listened. I don't know why it popped in my brain, but the cover of "I Touch Myself."
Oh god,
But,
that one's so
I
good.
booked myself from FarkhamCon, where we made the joke, and then we were supposed to take like a 2-hour break, and then I just made a song. Yeah.
Yep. Because
That was-
okay, so to wind myself up for getting back together with you guys for the first time, I went out and watched the in-person Iron Man that we did and shot, all of us in the same room, not the virtual one for FarkhamCon, but the Dream Eaters one that we shot. And it's very fun and good background content if anyone hasn't seen that yet. Great time for us. Nick played Carolyn, and it will never not be funny to me how he actively decided to play a support character and then gave the biggest sighs whenever anyone asked him to do support things.
It's like the Daisy player sighing when someone's like, "Can you investigate that?"
Yeah, there was a whole arc. It was pretty funny. But yeah, so yeah, that would be fun. You know, look, I'm not opposed to doing another musical episode, but that is pretty far down the road because there's no way we'd be able to lock in and tank it as hard as we did the first
Oh.
time.
Yeah.
But
You
the
also
other
have
thing,
the added complication of a current person who doesn't sing.
well,
So unless unless we do a sing talk or something. That's
That's a
three
never
of you.
stop.
Oh,
Like
we
William
will
Shatner,
include you
so-
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess
Yeah.
we need a slam. What was it, a slam poetry episode?
Yeah, there you go.
Or it could just be like was it the B-52's
Oh,
Rock
yeah,
Lobster
yeah.
or something like it was.
Yeah.
It was an Arkham Mobster. Arkham Mobster.
Auto-tune
All right, there you go. There's a song right there. Expand it out. But yeah, so no promises, but we're not opposed in theory. But one other thing that I think maybe at some point we will actually get around to. We have been threatening it for years, and have yet to ever have a lull in Arkham content long enough to actually fire off on it. But I really would like to get around to doing some Mythos bonus episodes where, we all enjoy things other than Arkham, and it would be cool to actually go back and do the an episode on Dark Tower. We'd all have to read it again probably, but just some of those other games that we play that maybe we have something to say about, or at least might have some fun discussing. That would be something I'd like to do at some point.
Yeah.
Probably going to be after Chapter 2 drops, because there's going to be plenty to talk about up to that point.
Yeah.
But
So we can talk about Keyforge and watch Scott die in the background. Okay.
what are some of the other bonuses we kept threatening to do? Because there was the Dark Tower one that had the most
Batman,
traction.
of
Like, we
course,
even got we got Ian to read it. We got Scott to read the the epilogue, right?
yeah,
you finally
yeah.
got around to reading that.
Yeah, that was my fourth time reading this series.
Anyway, we'll see what shakes out on that one. But Nick, was I the only one who didn't read it? I don't know. You were the one who turned me onto it to begin with, so I think that still counts.
Yes, Nick, you were the only one that didn't put the effort in.
So anyway, that's kind of what we're thinking at this time. Obviously, subject to change, subject to our whims, which is kind of the point. So more to come on that. We're gonna do better about announcing our stuff. Definitely join our Discord. I feel like one of the other artifacts of the years kind of eroding, much like a river through the Grand Canyon, the Mythos Busters infrastructure. Boy, I could have said that so much simpler this way. One of the artifacts of that is that some of our platforms have fallen off a little bit, but Discord is definitely where we are at. It's the best place to get a hold of us. We're all mods. We're all pingable. We have a patron channel, which is kind of the main place, at least I pay attention to and am active on at this point, because we have far too many channels beyond that for me to follow anyway. But join the Discord. It's a grand old time.
Yeah, it's a busy one too. Holy moly! Like if you want to just come and if you're looking for a place to chat about your favorite card or a deck idea or something, like there's a bajillion approximately people there who are just ready to jump all over you
Yep.
and drag you into the cave of Arkham chatting. So
Well, and I think one of the best things and I think it was Scott's idea originally, but one of the best things that we ever added to our Discord is the new to Arkham channel. So there is a dedicated channel right at the top of the channel list for people who want to come in and ask questions about the game, or, newbie rules questions, or, hey, look at this deck, or like, when you're getting into a hobby like this that has so long a history and so many very, very dedicated players, it can be really intimidating to hop into a forum and just start being a newbie, right? Like that feels dangerous sometimes. But our new to Arkham channel, it's such a wonderful little thing. There's like this beautiful little circle of life that exists there, where you'll see new people pop in and ask questions and learn and report back on their play sessions, and then they kind of become like the next generation of people who are still in the new to Arkham chat answering other people's questions, and like the cycle just perpetuates. It's a beautiful, wholesome little thing that we accidentally created.
The other thing with our Discord, I did want to, before we moved on, because this was new during the break a bit more. I know it was from before, but it's really stuck around and amplified through the break, was, can we give a quick shout out to our mods?
oh yeah,
Like,
Yes,
we won't be able to
please.
name them all, but like it has, with the size of this, like, it has grown. They are doing work. They're awesome. So just shout out to you guys. Well done. If you're in the Discord and you see the mods around, give them a virtual hug if they consent and are virtual huggers. But yeah, they're amazing.
I think, we did a decent job when it was just us and the place was a little bit smaller and less active, but I think, as it's grown and expanded well beyond Mythos Busters as an entity, it's still remained a wonderfully wholesome online community where often in gaming that can be hard to find. So big up to those guys. All right, so let's touch on patrons a little bit. So I just want to give a huge thanks. I'm looking right at you right now. A huge thanks to all of the patrons who actually continued to support us as we weren't making anything. Like, no shade to anyone who decided, well, they're on break, let's stop Patreon for a minute. That's completely reasonable. But there were a fair few patrons who just let it roll through our break, and that means the world to us. And so much of what we're able to do and so many of the dreams that we're able to realize comes from the fact that our patrons believe in what we're doing and offer us material support. And it enables us to do some really badass things. So just such a huge thanks to all of the patrons of all flavors and regularity and amounts. It's touches my heart to see how many people, are willing to offer us support in a very, very material way. So, touching on that, Patreon is not something we've fully fleshed out yet, but it is going to be something that probably will also see a few changes as far as like the tiers and the structures and the bonuses go, because all of the things that are up there were kind of predicated on our prior structure. So obviously we've moved to the monthly payment structure. I don't know what is the term for that, Justin.
The billing model. Yeah. I don't even know what the official term
monthly
is.
Cadence?
But yeah, it's not. It's no longer per creation.
Since we're not going to be as regular, we did this well before the break, but it is in line with what we're doing now. So we definitely appreciate anyone who wants to get out there and support us. So just be aware that in the coming days we will probably be tweaking a little bit about the Patreon features a little bit, but just to remind everyone of the benefits of being a patron. So obviously Dissonant Voices will continue, and that's something we make available to our patrons as part of that piece. The patron Discord channel, really fun, great group of people. The Mythos Busters offices are so well staffed. Glowing performance reviews all around.
Mm-hmm. If you want to chat with us, you're going to see us there all the time. So
yes, that's by far where we are most active. Like, you can ping us anywhere, but I'll at least me, I'll most likely see it in the patron channel.
Yeah.
I do plan at some point, we've got a little bit of a queue of ideas of what we want to start doing for content, especially now that Chapter 2 has been announced. That certainly forces our hand on certain ideas we had rolling around. But as things start to become a little bit more freeform, I would like to start using some polls to decide some of the things we work on and actually give our patrons, a say in what comes out next. So keep an eye out for those. And as well, just like with the content, if you're a patron now or you're a prospective one, and if you have any ideas or things that you would like to see us offer for patrons, definitely hit us up with those ideas. You can message us on Patreon. You can hit us up at the Gmail, which is mythosbusterspod@gmail.com. You could call it into the Mythos Busters hotline. That's 203-493-6984, 203-493-MYTH. Or you can ping us on Discord. Really, however you want to get it to us. We love good ideas, ever how they come. So, I think that catches us up, at least for the moment, boys. Anything else to add?
I have to do the lawyer bit.
Oh, yes, please
because
do.
I need to. Oh, yes. I need to go very quickly back about Dissonant Voices as a benefit. The benefit there is that our patrons can access Dissonant Voices in the Arkham Cards app.
Yes.
There is a connection there.
Yes.
So, Just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So, boys, I think it warrants a little bit of a catch up. Do you want to have possibly the longest tentacle time we've ever had?
I'm ready for the longest, girthiest tentacle that we have ever had on the show.
Big tentacle time exploding.
Yeah. This is the first thing on our OnlyFans.
So so I know normally when we do tentacle time, we like go around and we let everyone kind of call them finish their things. But would it be better to kind of trade off since we've all got a lot to talk about over a year?
I think we should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll start just kind of on the personal side of things beyond Arkham and gaming. You know, my burnout, and not to make this about that, but just my burnout was kind of as a whole, as a person. The way we made ourselves busy in podcasting community stuff was only one dimension of it. I was also in a job that didn't necessarily jive with how I operate, and it was causing me just to be the most tired person and crabby all the time, and I hated it. I eventually I got to a point where I was like, why is this so hard? I ended up getting into well, I go to therapy all the time, but my therapist suggested I check into it a little bit further, and yeah, I ended up getting diagnosed with ADHD, which I'm sure surprises no one who has listened to this podcast for a while. But it certainly did explain a fair few things as to what I was struggling with at the time. So I think one of the biggest things for me was that I had got that, because, you know, I wasn't surprised either. My parents have called me spirited since I was like 2 years old. They're so nice in that way. But obviously, you know, as far as mental health goes and understanding your own personhood and thoughts and the way you operate is kind of a big deal. And that certainly explained a fair few things to me, and it put me on a path to figure out how to better operate in the world that isn't necessarily super accommodating to neurospicy people. So that was kind of a big thing for me is getting on that path. I have a new job now that works out much better for me. And yeah, it's pretty great. So that's my broadest one. Scott, how about you? What you got going on?
Well, since we're talking about that, I figured this is a good slide in. I also got diagnosed recently. It was one that took a few years to get around to. But turns out I'm autistic, which is, I think, to those who know me, they're like, oh yeah, that makes so much sense. And it's something that's been very eye-opening for myself. And it's allowed me to realize there's ways to deal with things that I struggle with. And it's very much like, it was very easy for me to accept it, because I'm like, oh yeah, of course. Like, just looking back, it's like, oh, that makes sense. Oh wow, does that ever make so much sense, right? And being able to shift my perspective on things and use different tools and strategies and whatnot to deal with issues I have in life. Like, once I know that there's that issue, it can be like, okay, this sounds like a neurospicy issue, not something that, you know, I don't want to use the word normal, but you know what I mean. Like, someone who is
Typical.
not autistic isn't having this
accepted term.
Yeah, this deal. So like, okay, well, what's the autistic solution for this? And then I go and try that. I'm like, oh wow, this really works well, and then I can continue on with my life.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, I don't know, kind of turning it back to at least the part that played for me in burning out. It's, you know, it's kind of really important to, regardless of what your struggle is, it's kind of important to acknowledge you're having one. And that was a thing, that was a struggle in itself for a while, because I'm the kind of person who will grind my nose off to get the thing done, because not getting the thing done is admitting defeat. And that is not always in my best interest, it turns out. Who knew? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's really important to just acknowledge whatever your struggle is about yourself, and I don't know, it taking a break from certain things has definitely made the heart grow fonder on my end, and that goes beyond Mythos Busters, but particularly Mythos Busters, and being involved in this community has been very important part of my life for the past almost decade.
Yep.
Are we almost there?
Yeah, we're at 9 years. Yep.
That's pretty crazy. So, yeah. One other thing I will actually point to is the Drawn to the Flame guys did a really good episode on gaming burnout, and Arkham burnout in particular was their angle on it. And Frank is a practicing therapist now, so he had some good insights. So, well, normally I am loath to point people at Drawn to the Flame. I would highly recommend that episode in particular.
But only that episode. Just that one.
Only that one.
Yeah. Nothing else.
You know, I'm going to jump in there and, I mean, Ian, if you have something, go for it. But otherwise, I'm going to round out our continued focus on people should be aware of their mental health. As during the break, I also got to probably the best place I've ever been by modulating anti-anxiety meds. That was a thing I was very resistant to for a long time. I'm a huge proponent of therapy, but I had a bad experience years ago. And holy crap, again, to your point, Sean, admitting there's a problem and dealing with it made a difference. So
the marvels of science.
That's one stigma that I had to get over myself a decade ago, because I have depression as well, and I'm medicated for that. And there's I find when people talk about mental health, there's sometimes that stigma around using medication, because oh, it's so unnatural, why don't you just go for a walk? I'm like, dude, if going for a walk could cure my depression, I would have walked around the earth 10 times by now. You know what I mean? It's just and yeah, just whatever you need, if it's medication, if it's psychological help, psychiatric help, find what works for you, and don't be afraid to try what you need. Just try everything, because it might work for you. So,
well, if you're anything like me, you have no judgment for anyone else using drugs, but the struggle I had was that I was very, very intellectually conceited, and I was like, no, I know my mind. I'm in charge of this. I know what I can do, and I know the steps that might help, and I can do, and then I can have my hands on the wheel, and I don't need it's not helpful to think that way. Sometimes you need the boost, and it turns out, unfortunately, the brain can't control the brain in all the ways that we would like it to. Yeah. So, yeah, it's really a thing.
Yeah, I guess I can do my health things. That's where I'll do, I guess, my go around. Yeah. Mine is more physical health, but also mental health is wrapped in there, which is just I'm 43 now. I'm steadily making my way through the 40s, and the health issues just start piling up after a while. And I just reached this point of what do I want my quality of life to be going forward for essentially the second half of my life. So just made big changes in my diet and exercise, cutting out sugars from my diet is the big thing. And making those changes, it's insane. The changes to energy level and my mental clarity. It was as if a fog lifted, and I could just I'd feel so much more present and everything. And it probably sounds obvious to people, oh, what you put into your body affects everything, but it really does. I don't think until you make those changes you realize how much it just affects almost everything. And so it's crazy. One part of it is dropping pounds. I dropped 25 pounds, which is great, and going down sizes, but it's more so just about how I feel more than anything else, and just continuing to make those changes. And so yeah, it's, and the times I do, because I think part of it is of course I've tried in the past, but this has been actually sustainable. I've been doing this since March, I think, and just keep going. But I think part of it is just figuring out what works for you, because there's lots of there's no one right way to do go on a more healthy path, but what's gonna actually work for you and you're gonna stick to. And then also giving yourself if you do have a moment of a cheating or whatever else, that you're okay, I'm just gonna go right back to it. It's not a moral thing, it's just a health thing, So I think separating that out. But But it is crazy when I have like when my son had a birthday and like I had a cupcake. I'm like, okay, I'll celebrate. Like I felt like the sugar, like I could hear my heart beating. Like my body was so not used to it. Like I could feel everything in my body vibrating. I'm like, oh my god, is this what it is? so
Your
yeah,
blood sugar's rising.
it's good though. My doctor's happy with me. So.
Well, a collective great job, everyone. It sounds like everyone did the thing we were supposed to do and tried to take care of ourselves a little bit better during the break. So that's great to hear. All right. Well, good talk. Let's talk about games now.
Yep.
Yeah, games. Yeah. The real mental health.
So I think the first one I would mention is Star Wars Unlimited. Obviously, that started a little bit for us before we went on break, and we talked about it a bit. But that's one that really had its hooks in me hard, and I definitely ended up liking that game far more than I expected to. When it was announced, I was like, all right, Destiny was okay, and they had the production issues and supply issues right away, and that knocked me off of it, and maybe that'll happen again. But it's a Star Wars card game, so I must at least try it. And it ended up being such a snappy, quick, fun game that I'm in with both feet, man. Like I'm buying way too much product. I have, I've got that completionist mindset where I'm doing my best to have like 4 copies of every card, even the legendaries, if I can, reasonably. Because then I can put 3 copies in a deck, and I've got 1 available for Twin Suns. And it's not actually every card, to be clear, but that's the goal. But it encouraged me to get current on Star Wars too, right? Because FFG is working from the current EU and not the old EU that my old ass would like to see. So I had to get into I had to finally finish Clone Wars, which was great. If anyone wants an abridged episode list, I have curated one because I've had a couple friends reach out, or as I've talked about this, I've had a couple friends, maybe they were placating, but express at least lukewarm interest in doing it. So I do have that. And then Rebels, which was one that I completely did not expect to enjoy as much as I did, because you do the first 2-3 episodes of that and you're like, all right, this is kind of cute, it's kind of like a Star Wars kid show, but then it finds its feet, and my god, that show gets so good. It is some of the best Star Wars that is out there right now. So that was a joy to be able to like enjoy that, and then now all that stuff is right in the card game right here, because that's always the point, right? to have your hands on the universe you like.
Oh, sorry, I gotta jump in there because augmenting this story, Sean and I were with some of our friends at the Minnesota Orchestra playing alongside Empire Strikes Back, which, movies and orchestra, great. And we had one of our buddies, and we're trying to sell him on, hey, you should watch this. And this, it was near and dear to my heart, Sean, to be like, I started watching it, and then I was like, man, Justin was really high on this, and I don't know, man, but he doesn't get that excited about that many things, so I'll give it a try. And yep, it's good. It's so good.
But in addition to that, they even did get into some of the older EU that my old ass would like to see. They have yet to print a Kyle Katarn or a Mara Jade card, which would kind of be at the top of my wish list. But we did get KOTOR. Revan, Malik, a decent amount of that cast was in set 5, which was really cool to see. That they're willing to, because the game's anachronistic anyway as far as the timeline goes. It's got all 3 trilogies bashing up against each other. We're not worried about that theme, so why not pull from 3,000 years ahead of the trilogy, or whenever KOTOR is technically set. I can't remember. KOTOR 2 is going to be in the set that just dropped. Secrets of Power came out. I'm excited about that. I think I get my cards tomorrow. And that's the other thing, is I completely forgot that the comfort of the civility of the LCG biosphere, right? Where you buy the cards honestly and you have all the cards because you bought them. it made me forget the joy of cracking packs. And I know that is potentially problematic for some people. You know, be honest with yourself if it's being a problem, but oh boy, it's fun. I do enjoy cracking packs.
Pack cocaine, man.
Yeah.
Pack cocaine.
So
I'm surprised they haven't done Mara Jade yet, because like she's a huge character in the book.
now she's old EU though. She's technically not canon anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's
Nick, it made me forget the dopamine of addiction. Okay, all right. If you're gonna be a fuddy-duddy about it. But yeah, you know, it's just cool. They had enough like goodies to it, and they've got like, you know, hyperspace cards which do the full bleed art, and you know, foils are pretty fun, and you occasionally will pull a showcase. I think the best story that came out of that is we were at I can't even remember if we told this story on the podcast. Maybe we did, but we were at Gen Con, and I had taken my daughter there before she went off to college this next year. So this was last summer. And she graciously plays that game with me. And she really likes Kylo Ren. That's like, you know, she was at the right age when the sequel trilogy came out. So Kylo Ren is one of her favorite characters, and he's probably the best part of the sequel trilogy, to be honest. So I don't blame her. But anyway, we were just bopping around playing games, and we were sitting down. She and Justin went off to the dealer hall and ended up getting a booster box of Shadows that was out at the time. And she's like, okay, we're going to pull a Kylo Ren showcase. And if you look up the rarity of showcases, at least as far as FFG has disclosed, it's like the average rarity is like one showcase in every 12 booster boxes, if I recall correctly. And each booster box has 24 packs, and each pack has 16 cards. So it's and then there's 24 liters or so in each set. So like the odds of you pulling, like calling the shot of the leader on a showcase is astronomically low. And here, trying to be a responsible father, like, you know, encouraging my child to participate in this fun thing, but not get crazy with it, right? So I'm in the middle of this lecture of like, all right, kid, you know, like it'd be really cool if you did, but you're not gonna pull a Kylo showcase. And then she literally opens a pack and goes, ooh, and I see him like, oh, she's trolling me right now. And then she whips that pack around, and there's a Kylo Ren showcase. I cannot.
Wow.
And now I never get to lecture her again. That's how that works, right?
It was insane. Just insane.
I have never had so little to say in a moment than in that one. But anyway, Star Wars Unlimited has occupied a great amount of my card gaming time in Arkham's absence. The multiplayer mode, Twin Suns, is really fun. And, you know, as we do as card gamers sometimes when there's not another person to play with, it is actually a pretty good game to like sit and just like play through a game yourself and just see how the pieces move, you know? Like it snaps back and forth between the two decks that you're playing really nicely. And it's I don't know, Scott, like I used to do this with the Star Wars CCG. And there's so much like hidden...
Oh yeah, play against yourself?
Yeah. And there's so much like hidden information
Yeah.
and like quick specific reactions in that game that like you can do it, but it does take some of the magic out of it to be like, oh, and I happen to have this one cancel card, and oh, this other deck didn't know that. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
But Unlimited's pretty good to go back and forth and just be like, all right, here's my hand, here's my resources, this is the board state, what does this deck do right now in this moment? And it's pretty fun for that. So anyway, Star Wars Unlimited. I know we have participated in it in various amounts between us on the podcast here, but Scott, it'd be a great time. It's a Star Wars card game. It's a Star Wars card game.
Well, the thing is, I got into a different game. Speaking of autism, I got into Warhammer 40K.
Oh,
but
you went
specifically,
spicy.
Specifically, Kill Team, which is thought in the chat. Yeah, Kill Team. So it's where you have a team of dudes, like models or whatever, and the team size is anywhere from 5 to 14. So the most amount of models you'll have is 14. But most teams are like 6 to 10, like 12 is kind of bigger, stuff like that. And the way it works is you have this map, and there's you have a hidden objective for yourself that you choose before the game. And then there's the main objective, and then there's also kill points for killing the other team. And even if you get wiped, like if you get wiped off the board, there is a chance, like if you were doing well up to that point, that you may still win. Like if you're just getting all the objective points and stuff like that. It's super fun, and it's like, I go, you go, I go, you go. Right? Like we each move a dude, and I love it. I don't know why I love it so much, besides the fact that it's a fantastic game, but it's super fun. I hate painting miniatures.
Oh, okay, that was my next question. Is are we into the
Yeah.
blinging aspect of it at all?
No. So I mean, you buy the box, and like the guys are on sprues, right? Like it's that plastic rectangle with all the little pieces, and you gotta like cut them out and assemble them and paint them and stuff. So what I do is I go on like Facebook Marketplace, and I find people who have built and painted a team and they don't want it anymore, and I just buy that.
Okay.
Because
Smart.
if I could go the way of like how FFG did X-Wing, where you just buy painted miniatures, oh, I would love that. But the good thing is that for a lot of Warhammer people, the biggest part of the hobby is painting, and they love that. And I've bought teams that are built and painted for cheaper than it would be to just buy the box from the store, because people are like, oh, it's already painted and built. Where's the fun in that? And I'm like, that's where the fun is. And we're just finishing up this campaign that a friend of mine ran at this store. So for 8 weeks, everyone played the same mission, but against different teams. And it was like a narrative campaign where you had to choose, there was 4 secret objectives. Basically, we're on a planet, and there's an exterminatus order coming from the Emperor. So he's going to just blow up the planet. And your team is trying to figure out how they're going to deal with that, whether they're going to escape, or maybe they were coming back for something or whatever. So you choose a secret objective, and then you score these points in the game, but then you also are scoring it in this like secret objective sheet, and that's going to affect our final game, which is on Sunday, which is an 8-person game, and Kill Team is built for 2 people, and we're playing an 8-team game on Sunday. So I played the Plague Marines, and my secret objective was watch the world burn, where I'm just like, yeah, exterminatus, let's go. And then so I'm just trying to stop people from getting off the planet. So yeah, it's super exciting.
Does your time with Conquest help you with the lore at all, or with any of the, like, is there any crossover knowledge there?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's, you know me, lore. I'm like, yeah, whatever. This dude, the numbers do this and all that stuff. But like, I find Warhammer 40K lore pretty interesting. It's fun. It's space racism essentially, right? Like everyone's bad. It's grimdark. But yeah, it's really fun. So, yeah, Kill Team. Like because I've always kind of been tempted by Warhammer 40K, but I look at the amount of painting and modeling and the cost and everything, and I'm like, I can't do that. But Kill Team, like, I guarantee you could find someone selling a team for $50, and you're good to go.
That's cool. Do you have a favored faction overall?
My favorite team that I have is the Tau Pathfinders. And the reason I love them so much is they are small, wimpy dudes, but they have this ability called Marker Light. And so basically, instead of shooting, or before they shoot or whatever, because you get a certain amount of, like, each model gets an action, like you do in Arkham kind of thing, usually 2 or 3, and they can start marking people. And what happens is once they get enough marks, like basically you can't hide, and the shooting on them gets really good, where it's like, I'm rolling these dice, but I have all the rerolls in the world, plus you can't save with these dice and all this stuff. And I don't know why I love that, but you're just lighting somebody the hell up.
Crosshairs just like closing in, right?
Yeah, right? Like it's just like they're just getting pinged like crazy, and then all of a sudden you're just Marker Lights are basically like laser targeters, thanks stuff. But yeah, and it's
awesome.
Yeah, I don't know, I find that play style really fun. You can make a kill team of Tyranids. Actually, they have a 5-model team that's insane, and you can actually have guys who are underground, so that you actually take the model off the board, and there's like tunnel markers, and then like you'll pop up from the tunnel. And stuff.
That's nasty in a minis game. God.
Yeah. Oh, and they have another team called the Aquilians, the Tempest Aquilians. Anyways, they drop in from the ship. Like, you don't start the game with all your models on the board. Like, they show up. The game is 4 turns long, but they show up on the first and second turn, like from the ship, like they land on the board, and then you're like, now I'm shooting. So you don't even know where they're gonna land. It's oh god, it's a really fun game.
Cool. Unexpected.
It was unexpected for me too. It was a friend of mine who I play card games with, and he got into it, and he's like, come try this game. I was like, yeah, okay, sure, why not?
That is how it goes.
Yeah, first hit's free.
Ian, what's your next one?
I'm gonna get my self-promotion one out of the way. So I've been working on a few game design projects. I have a few games in the old oven baking. But I've been working on one by myself, which is a roll and write game, which is based around being a soccer manager. Shocker that it's based around soccer for me. But I'm gonna have it. It's called Up the Table. I'm gonna be putting it up on Kickstarter in January. So I have a pre-launch page for it that I'm going to put in chat shortly here. But yeah, I was really just thinking about a couple things. One is I was traveling a lot the past couple years. And sometimes, like, I want to bring a board game to be in the hotel room, but it's like most board games are like unwieldy to like travel with, especially because I like to travel light, and like hotel table space is usually pretty limited. So I started like printing out like print and play roll and write games and like really exploring those. And then the other thing that happened is, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, these little things called tariffs kind of wreaked havoc on the board game industry in terms of costs. So like I was designing this.
Yeah, they used to be kind of an academic thing that I learned about in business school.
Yeah. So like as all as that was happening, I was like, I should just like make this be a print and play game, and people can just bypass the whole shipping thing and just like print it at home. So yeah, if anyone's interested, they can check it out. If you're interested in the sport of soccer, even if you're not, if you're interested in roll and writes, I think it's pretty fun, even if you don't know anything about soccer. So,
where could people find that?
I'm gonna put the link. So if you go on Kickstarter and search for Up the Table, the pre-launch page is there. I also have a website for it, which is just upthetable.com, which gives you like more info.
Hell yeah. We should put that on the Mythos Busters website too.
I've been watching Ted Lasso, so I know a lot about soccer now.
Is that how that works?
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the things in the game is like, as a roll and write, you can like name all the players on your squad and like name your club and all that. So I have to do so much playtesting. I'm constantly trying to think of new player names, so it gets wacky sometimes.
Awesome. Cool. Well, everyone check out Up the Table. Support your Ians. Support your local Ians. Justin, what's your next one?
I gotta look at my list. Well, I will reiterate Star Wars Unlimited. I think you've covered most of it. It is real good. I know you and I are both into that one. It is everything I loved about Destiny in a different package, and still distinct enough that there's a place for both in my heart, which is nice. I do agree with your earlier comment about it's easier to play against yourself. I found that, especially as compared to Destiny, where there you also had the dice and then knowing what the other cards could mess with that, so you had both the chance and the other element. But this, I've not had a game, a 1v1, where it felt like pretty good and you didn't have to suspend disbelief that much to be able to play back and forth. So yeah, really good there.
It's good practice to just analyze the board state. And I will say, in regards to Destiny, no shade on anyone who likes Destiny. If anyone's watched me play games that have an RNG element to it, like a chaos bag or like dice, it's tough for me sometimes. It just doesn't go well.
Well, and as you know, the trick if you want to play Destiny now is you come play some of the random decks I've assembled, or especially do it when I put like janky ones together of make the Jawas fight the Crate Dragon.
Yeah, there's some fun dual decks you have for sure.
Yeah, but no, let's see. I'm gonna do another one that I know you'll be able to jump in on, and then that'll be a nice ping pong back to you. The one that is taking up most of my time at the moment, Hades 2. It's quite good. Where I'm landing on it is For a lot of stuff, I think I still prefer the first game, but again, that is preference, because they are both just amazing. This one really feels like an expanded DLC to the first game, which is a good thing. It's really good. There's a lot more systems, which is both fun and unnecessary at the same time. So it just kind of depend. I understand why some of the commentary online is, oh, they put extra bloat in my game. Well, it's just, I don't know. You're going to make a lot of runs. You'll get different currencies. That's fine.
I think that a lot of the stuff they added, at least to the like actual gameplay when you're running around defeating enemies, it just makes it so much more tactical. Because you have like they added a whole layer of different things you could do with any move, which is really cool, and it makes it harder for me because I am impatient and greedy, and and I die a lot for those reasons.
Yeah, I finally came around to. You will appreciate this, and we can talk about it more later. I have finally come around to liking the big slow weapon. It is not my favorite. I like the move around constantly, have something firing. Like, that's just surprising no one with how I play these games. So if anyone is playing it, the Flames, like S tier, best one, like just incredible.
I'm on Team Flames for sure.
Yeah.
And yes, the big slow weapon is the one that gets me in the most trouble.
Yeah.
The most. So much trouble.
Yeah. But no, it's really good. I finally now understand some of the combos of the boons you get. For those who haven't played it, you get empowered by the Greek gods about, hey, Poseidon's boons are waves and they bounce things away, and Aphrodite's does more damage when things are brought close, and like it's very well themed. And then they sometimes team up, but it's all random as you go through, so you don't know, you can't plan to make a build other than in like very limited capacity. But it's really, really good. I am near the end of what I'm calling my unofficial punch list, because you can. I don't usually chase trophies or anything, but I know I 100% trophied the first game, and now I'm playing on a platform with no trophies. But seeing what the requirements are, they seemed lesser on this than like fully going to what you had to do on the first one. And I like the game so much, I'm just knocking it out. But yeah, boy, is it fun.
It is fun, and I'm a lifelong Greek mythology nerd, so like trying to predict how they're going to pull in these characters, or like seeing certain symbols, or like there's even a point where like leopard print was given to me as a hint by someone. I'm like, ooh, that could be this person or this person. Ended up being two of them. And yes, as Thoth pointed out, everyone in the game continues to be devastatingly hot. By Panic the game, it's wonderful. It's cute anime, cozy Greek mythology. And by God, look out for Dionysus's bulge. It's off the charts.
Other thing to mention with it too is if you did play the first game, there are so many Easter eggs, and I keep finding them. And I guess this is, if you are spoiler averse, it's not super spoilery, but close your ears for the next 5 seconds. But Sean, have you seen Boldy?
I've seen Boldy.
Yeah.
I've not seen Boldy's face because there's something in the way at the moment that I think eventually will move, but
yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the room.
Okay.
That's the,
and it's stuff like that
Sisyphus room
where I don't always notice it right away, and then now on 100+ runs, whatever, I'm like, oh damn. So anyway, Hades 2, and I know you're also playing, so if you have anything else to add there, and then back to you.
Yeah, no, I mean it's been great. Hades is a game where I will just pick that one back up occasionally when I just want to like plunk at something. So when the whole ass sequel came out of early access, I was like, let's go. So yep, no, I've been enjoying it. I haven't been able to play it as single-mindedly as I would have liked, in another life, but we're making good progress. So yeah, real good time, real good time. So I guess I'll kind of lump a bunch of them together here because I do continue to have a weakness for cooperative card games. So there's always the continued expansion of Marvel Champions. So I've been playing a decent amount of that, working through the mutant cycle, and I've yet to buy the Shield box just because I still haven't worked all the way through the mutant cycle, and I don't know, Nick Fury and Maria Hill aren't like the most interesting characters to me personally. So this is the first LCG that I've actually been buying like an LCG, like the original premise was meant to be, right? Where you just buy what you need and you don't need everything. It's the first time that's actually worked for me.
I didn't know that was an option.
And then, I believe it or not, if you can talk your brain into it, it's
I
great.
don't believe it.
So beyond that, I did also pick up Lorcana a little bit when it dropped. Like I haven't been playing, I barely play with anyone because the main reason I picked it up is set 3 of that game dropped a co-op challenge deck mode to it. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like suddenly this, like, you know, I'm a textbook millennial. So the Disney, well executed Disney stuff will always speak to my heart a little bit. And Lorcana it's a little bit magic. It's a little bit Keyforge. The art is like cute and adventurous and like steampunky a lot of the time. Like they do themes for every set, and it's kind of fun. And they continue to get me to buy more of it by just hitting the right properties. And I keep telling myself I'm fucking done. And my God, I am wrong every time. It's like I was like, okay, cool. We got through Ursula's Palace. Cool. Don't really need any because I've got my Aladdin deck put together. It's fine. And then the Fabled set dropped a Goofy movie, and I'm like, oh well, I must have a Powerline deck. I must have a Powerline deck.
Oh, man.
So
Amazing.
So there was that, and I'm like, okay, look, I'm back for Darkwing Duck. Whenever they drop Darkwing Duck, I will be back in for that, but I can't see another Disney property that they haven't already done, that I don't already have, that I need to hop back in. And then the motherfuckers start spoiling Gargoyle cards.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I didn't know that was a Disney property, Gargoyles. Did you? And suddenly it's in the game. I'm like,
Everything.
oh.
Everything's a Disney property now, so I mean,
Yeah,
really.
so it's like, God, every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in. And there's only 2 like co-op challenge scenarios now, and I'm not playing against anyone, you know, in the traditional 2-player way. So my investment and possible play is kind of limited, but goddamn, every time that's how you get me with cards, is including fun characters that I like. So a little bit of Lorcana here and there. The one I really want to give it up to though is that Scott. I hesitate to use the word sold because we basically just exchanged shipping costs, but Scott sent me his copy of Earthborn Rangers. And that sat in the cello for a little bit because that was last year and everything was crazy. But now that things have calmed down and the kiddo's off at university, I actually have been able to get my wife to sit down and play Earthborn Rangers with me. And I was super checked out of all of the hype and run up to that game. I didn't back it. At the time, I was like, I don't have time. I don't have energy. I was completely checked out. So it was actually kind of interesting for me to buy this game that I knew there was hype around, and I heard things here and there. And MJ had let me know that she was now working on that game before I got to play it. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So like this game has a future with a developer that I know, you know, I know I really like their work. And it's fun. I'm enjoying it so far. It's, you know, it's been pretty heavily described, and I'm very late to the game and talking about it at this time, but it's nice and cozy. You can decide a lot more easily how long your play sessions are. So it is actually very casual friendly in that regard, where you can just be like, okay, well, we could accomplish more, but everyone's tired. So let's end the day. Right. So it's been really good with getting my wife to the table because she likes that theme, and the theme is fun. Like I don't know if I've ever played a game that's set in like a post apocalypse, where like the apocalypse happened and now the world has recovered and now we're playing the game, you know, which is what Earthborn kind of goes for. So yeah, it's been fun. My first deck that I built was Shaper Shepherd, and I think that's a bad combo, but I wanted to play the magic character because that's what I do, and I wanted to play the Beastmaster character because that's also what I do in every RPG where I have a choice. Oru is my boy, and I have now learned, since I've now gotten into paying attention to, you know, commentary on the game and the broader community at this point, that Oru is busted and amazing. So I'm glad I got to find that out. But yeah, no, I've been having a really good time with it. It's got enough DNA shared with Arkham that it is pretty logical to figure out. But as opposed to the thing with a lot of co-op card games where it's like the player turn, the board turn, and then the board moves and enemies do things, and then new cards come out, and now the players get a bunch of actions again. It's like Unlimited or Destiny, where you trade action for action, but often you're trading that with other players and, in addition, the world, because whenever you do a test, often features of the board will move around and interact or possibly pop out or you know, attack things, or, you know, wolves will hop out on the deer, and like the world just kind of feels a lot more organic, and it doesn't feel like the, you know, obviously nothing against Arkham, it's just the way it works, but it's player turn, board turn, player turn, board turn, and they're much bigger stretches of time and mechanics, whereas, I don't know, Earthborn's got that cool, like, the world moves as you move through it feel to it. Yeah, Anti-Mark Kravnikov, the game plays with itself, and that is actually a very interesting element to its strategy, especially because I chose the shaper that lets you scry the Chaos Bag equivalent, the challenge deck, and the special icons on that are what make the world move in certain ways. So you can actually like suss out, like, okay, if I do this, then this happens, and it's fun. It's very fun. So more to report on that. I think we're only 7 days in at this point, but I've been having a really good time with Earthborn. Ian, you're into that one too, right?
Yeah, so I can kind of lump some of mine together too, but yeah, I had Earthborn on my list. I backed it originally, got it, started playing it, but as often happens with me, I get distracted by other games or other projects, and just like finding time to play campaign games that aren't Arkham is always a challenge. But I did go back to it during our break, and I'm about halfway through the first campaign. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think.
Which character did you roll?
I'm trying to even remember. I'm trying to remember because I changed it. In my first try I played one combo, and now I'm doing a whole different arrangement. So I'm trying to remember offhand what the classes are even called. I am doing Beastmaster as well. So. That is kind of my current deck is just like spamming all the animals out. The thing about Earthborn is it does have a lot of the Arkham DNA, but it's such a different like pace to it and feel. I have seen some Arkham players like bounce off of it for that reason, because like Arkham is such a pressure cooker of a cooperative card game, where it's like you're constantly under doom pressure, and it just, you know, it just has that feel to it. Whereas, although there are some time pressures in Earthborn, it's a little more of an explorer type game, and kind of like, and also very much a kind of like, a lot of the fun for me is in those moments that are just kind of, the cards work out in a certain way, you know, that emergent narrative of, oh, you know, you run across this character in this place, which is just kind of randomized. But I guess it's that open world aspect to it. I think more so than any other cooperative card game I played, like Earthborn is really like based around this idea of like an open living world. And I think like what's in the core box is just the beginning of it. It's just kind of the most like rudimentary like form of that as can be expected, and I think they're just going to keep building on that, with especially with a bunch of the new expansions that have been announced. And I just got the new one in the mail the other day, the first one that MJ designed, so yeah, looking forward to that. Yeah, so that's Earthborn.
You have to let me know how that goes.
For sure. I definitely want to keep playing some more, so I need to finish out that campaign so I can tackle some of the other content. I did like one of the things I try to do during the break is like try to play a lot of the games that I hadn't played yet that are in my collection. And also a lot of new games
Fair.
came out that I did acquire over the break. So I can't really talk about them all, but some highlights. Fate of the Fellowship, which is the new Lord of the Rings game, which is based on the Pandemic system. Got a chance to play. That one's real good.
I've heard that one's really good. You're not the first person to say that's like it's based on Pandemic, but it's like
Yeah.
you can see the bones, but like
Yeah,
they take it
totally.
in a
Like if you're
completely
familiar
different
with Pandemic, you're obviously going to recognize stuff, but it doesn't feel like it when you're playing it, which is the good thing. Like I never thought like stopped and been like and was taken out of it by like, oh, this is the Pandemic mechanism. Like I just felt like it was Lord of the Rings the whole time. Like the way they integrated everything with trying to move Frodo, and they're constantly searching for him, and the way you like take attention, like if you start a battle somewhere, that takes Sauron's eye away, so there's like a little Sauron's eye token that determines where he's looking. Like all those mechanics just work so well to make you feel like you're actually playing Lord of the Rings. The character abilities are really cool and thematic, like because when you search, you roll dice to determine what happens. One of the dice results is like Nazgul can like basically take some of your army away. But Aowen has a special ability when you roll a Nazgul. She basically like takes one of the Nazgul out if she's in that area. So just little things like that are super fun. Like so I think that's gonna be one of my go-to Lord of the Rings games going forward. I definitely want to play that one more. And I think it'd be fun to play with a group.
Well, the circle's now complete.
Yeah.
Because I got the Clone Wars one based on Scott's recommendation. Now I'm going to have to get Fate of the Fellowship based on
I
yours.
definitely recommend Fate of the Fellowship.
It feels right.
And I guess the other one to throw in there is Yomi 2, which Yomi is the Yomi 1, the original is I think near a decade old at this point. But it's a card game based on classic like arcade fighting games like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, whatever your fighter of choice may be. And I always thought it did a good job of like replicating that feel of like trying to string combos together. But there's a new version, Yomi 2, which like adds some new mechanisms. Like there's you can customize your fight, because it's not really a deck building game where you build a deck like you have your fighter deck, but they did add an element where you can choose like an elemental gem, like a fire jam or a death jam, and so that adds some cards to your deck, so that's a fun element. And then they also have kind of solo or co-op play in Yomi 2 now too, which of course makes it better. And so they have kind of automated opponents. And then also they have a really like great digital implementation of Yomi 2. So if you don't think you want to invest in a whole tabletop thing, or you just want to play it, there's a digital version which is really good, which actually came out like a year before the actual like game was released.
Ian, not to make you feel old, but I looked up when Yomi first released, because I know we were talking about that before the show. It's a couple months away from being 15 years
old. Oh my god.
Yeah. In January, it'll be 15 years.
That was a big gap between the first and second versions then, huh? Yeah.
That is huge, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Justin, how about your next one?
Yeah, so a couple of mine are related. So before I get to a game, I'll do a quick story. So we got a new dog this year, and she's a puppy. We're not going to do a puppy, but for various reasons we did. And that, for quite a while, cut into my game time, not just because of how much time puppies take, but being near where I have my games to play. So I needed something to play on my phone, which I don't usually do. Doesn't play well with my eyes. But I finally played Balatro.
Yeah, Balatro.
Yeah.
God, I need to get back to that. How hard did it hook you? Like,
it was fine. I wouldn't say it even like fully hooked. Like I get it. I get why people love it. I have other stuff that where the hook would set I'd play instead. This was more the platform it was on. And I mean, I played it enough that I think I beat it once with every deck and then took one or two of them all the way up to gold. And I mean, every once in a while I'll still pop in, but it never set the hooks like something like Snap did or anything. But yeah, it is quite good. I like how, or I understand why people like it. And yeah, I'm sure you'll hear me talk about the dog more too, but that's just I'm a crazy dog person, so.
I'll ask for everyone in chat. Do you have a picture of Puppy that you can share in chat?
I will.
You're welcome, chat.
I will share it when I'm not talking because I don't do as well with multitasking. I'll do another one, and then I'll just have one more to come back to later. Another video game. I think I talked about the first game, Remnant from the Ashes, on here at some point. Yeah, I freaking love that thing, and it was originally pitched as like Dark Souls with guns, and that's a misnomer. It's not what it is. It's still kind of the dodgy. You have the iframes. It is with a ton of different sci-fi guns. It was great. It was clunky but good. If you could get past the tutorial of the first one, which felt like a 1997 PlayStation game, just one of the worst tutorials I've ever experienced. You get past it, and it's great. The shtick is that you're in like a hub world, and then you pop into different procedurally generated sci-fi worlds of varying flavors.
Dark multiverse.
Yeah, and so Remnant 2 came out, and I played the ever-loving crap out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 3 worlds within it, and with the DLC, there's 3 different ways that world can generate, and like different ways to get the different guns, and the lore. You all know I'm a sucker for good lore. I will forgive a lot if the lore is well done, and the lore in this is just insane. Like I had different times where I gasped and I was like, holy crap.
Well, what's interesting about it is I personally feel that like the overarching lore of like the broader meta universe is just kind of babble, but the lore of each individual world is so well fleshed out that each one of those could easily be its own game, and that, if you get into it deep enough, it definitely can be. Like I think I'm 80 hours into that game, and I didn't play it as much as you, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree for the most part in the overarching lore, because they just really dropped the ball on what they were doing with this one. If you kind of connect the two, and then it actually connects to a prequel game.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
And then I haven't played that one because it's a different game, but the lore there, again, knowing that it was how that was setting up this one, that then sets up this one, and the DLs, again, so good. I don't want to even potentially spoil anything for anybody. Remnant 2 is just so good.
I will second a very important piece of what you said. Is anytime I ever try to sell anyone on Remnant, I'm like, okay, get past the intro. The intro is gonna give you the ick in a way you're not even expecting after I tell you this. But I promise there's a great game behind it.
For Remnant 2, one more selling thing is there is one of the 3 worlds that I just call Yarnum. Like it is Bloodborne world is what it is. It's not actually, but it could be. And it just, the vibes are awesome for it. The enemies are fun. Again, spooky shit happens. So check it out.
Ooh, Dan mentions Blueprints in the chat, which I almost had on my list, but I played it with my friend Kip, and he was kind of in the driver's seat the whole time because he was way more locked into it than I was, so I don't have like anything smart to say about it. But Blueprints is great. If you love a puzzly game, if you want to capture the feeling that Myst gave you when you were 12, Blueprints is fantastic.
I don't know how I didn't put that on my list because I played so much of that.
That was the other reason I didn't put it on mine. I'm like, oh, Justin will talk about that.
It's because I stepped away for so long because I was playing and I got hit with that bug and I lost 15 hours of gameplay and I haven't gone back. But yeah, holy crap. I don't know which I would have to recommend more. Probably even Blueprints over Remnant because Blueprints is so good.
Yeah. So I think the last thing I'll mention is I actually was fortunate enough to be able to take a trip to Europe. My kiddo's going to school in Europe. So we went and checked out some schools in October of 2024, and I had, well, in addition to just seeing Scotland and a good part of England, we got to meet up with a mutual friend, Stokes Book, So shout out to Dave if he's still around. I don't think he listens to the podcast anymore, but I know he's around. I actually got to meet up with both Frank and Peter in meat space. So I have shared physical space with both of the baby eaters. They were kind enough not to consume any infants in front of me. But there was much there was much carousing, and it was a really good time. So shout out to Frank and Peter. They were great hosts. But yeah, real good time. Ian?
My last one is, since I haven't talked about video games, I don't tend to play as much video games as board games. Well, I just tend to play the same ones over and over, which is like Football Manager and Cyberpunk. My two mainstays. But I have been playing one recently, which also came out recently, which is Dispatch. So this is it's very much a Telltale style of game, if you're familiar with those games. And I think some former Telltale writers and employees are actually working on it. So it's a superhero-based game, but the main character, who is voiced by Aaron Paul of Breaking Bad fame, so the voice cast is ridiculous. Like, the voice acting is great. But he's like a superhero who kind of falls on hard times, and it becomes a dispatcher for superheroes. So the gameplay loop is like you have this team of kind of villains turned heroes. So there's different crimes that occur, and you have to like choose who you're going to send to which. So that's the kind of dispatch part of it. But a good chunk of it is just the story of it is great, the animation, the writing, like voice acting, like I mentioned. It's just it's so good. So it's very much like more of a storytelling game. So if that's not your kind of thing, then you might not like it. But if you're into that kind of thing, then I definitely recommend it.
You're not the first person I've heard recommend that, so I might have to give that one a look.
I think you'd like it.
That's like looped in with like Critical Role too, right? It's like in that wheelhouse and something to do with the production.
And a lot of their cast does voice acting for it. So yeah.
Excellent, Scott.
I got a couple to finish up on here. Video games, Helldivers 2. I am still going strong on that one, man.
Nice. They added the Illuminate to that, didn't they?
Yeah. And they
I
added
have yet to play against them.
Oh, they're terrible. I mean, well,
I bet.
Yeah, I really enjoy playing against the automatons. They're my favorite, and I'll play. Sure. They added a 10th difficulty level, Super Helldive. So now I play at level 10 against the bots, and it's just managed chaos, and I just absolutely love it.
Wild.
Yeah. It's do you have did anyone play Helldivers 2? Any of you guys?
Yeah, Justin and I played it in our little game group for a while. We dropped off, I think, like 2 or 3 months before the Illuminate came out. But I played Helldivers 1, so like I knew at least they were coming.
Yeah, we should play together. I'll take you through hell. I went to a number of concerts. I got to see Dragon Force play Through the Fire and the Flames live, which was just, 20-year-old me. Back in the was it Guitar Hero days. I was just like, wow, this is
Guitar
amazing.
Hero 3, baby.
Yeah. I got to take my son to his first ever concert. He was 8 at the time. He took him to Mother, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, it was really great. He fell asleep like when they did like this like a softer like acoustic time, because it was like way past, like they came on stage 15 minutes after his bedtime, so he kind of like fell asleep and was like not having the greatest time when he was like super tired. But then they started playing Hayloft, which is his favorite song, and then he got up and danced, and then he went home. So that was super fun. And I got to go to the local symphony orchestra, and they played the Lord of the Rings soundtrack with a choir as well. And that thing like moved me to tears at certain points. Like, it was absolutely incredible. And when they're doing that dun 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 dun, the mortar thing, there was a guy on stage with chains, and he's like bashing the chains on this metal to make like it was absolutely incredible. Like, possibly the best concert I've been to in my entire life. And then lastly, still playing a lot of Commander, because it's super fun, and I know you hate Magic, but
Boo, Magic, get out.
Yeah, Whatever.
All right,
you
we're
played-
done.
You
We
play,
made it
Lord
one
Hana, so-
episode back before
Yeah.
you broke us up, Scott. One.
But one thing I've jumped into now, because like they did a really awesome thing where they came up with this bracket system for Commander. So like when you're building a deck and when you're finding people to play with, you say, "Oh, what bracket are you playing?" And decks fit into usually one bracket, but it gives an idea of the power level of your deck and the type of game you're expecting. So there's bracket 1, which is like you're not actually expecting to win, you're just telling a story with your deck. Like some people just love, like they have a favorite artist, like Magali or something, where like all the cards are Magali art. And like it barely
non-functional
functions.
mechanical theme.
Yeah, or like it's something, you know, like some people call it like book tribal, where it's like every image, like every card art has to have someone reading a book on it. You know what I mean? Like it's just really fun stuff. And then like 2 is the level of precons, right? Like the Lord of the Rings precons or whatever. 3 is when you start. They have this list of game changer cards, so you're allowed to bring 3 game changers in bracket 3, which are big, powerful cards. And then you have bracket 4, which is like no holds barred, and then you have bracket 5, which is something people call CEDH, which is competitive Commander, which I've started playing, and I love it because it's very much like the game only lasts 3 turns ish, but the game takes an hour and a half because there's just the power level of the decks are absolutely absurd, and everyone comes to the table and it's like, okay, everyone here is trying to win, no holds barred, like there's no bad feelings, like if you take me out, you probably had a reason for it. I'm attacking you because it makes the most sense for me, and like I don't know, it's just I love the complexity of it and the strategy and the tactics and everything like that. Like it's definitely not for everyone, and some people say like, oh, that kind of takes the fun out of it. I'm like, no, the fun is like trying to win. Like the goal is to win, no holds barred, and I just absolutely love it. Yeah, like Todd says in the chat. Yeah, we are. It's very honest in the social contract of the game that we are here to win as hard and fast as possible, and that's it.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I groan, but Wizards did finally get me. I own my very own Commander deck now because Final Fantasy X is like my pet.
Ooh,
Final Fantasy
got you.
And yeah, and that theme was just. It was too much for, like I said with Lorcana, like you just got to get the right characters on a card for me to push around, and you'll get.
They're gonna get me with
They
Star
almost
Trek.
got me with Fallout.
Oh yeah,
Star Trek's gonna get me for sure.
That's so funny that Ian and Justin both said they almost got me with, and then they
Well,
said
they
something.
came very close with
That's
Lord
so
of the
good.
Rings, but yeah,
Oh, the Lord of the
Yeah?
Rings set is fantastic.
they
Like, what-
still
like,
might get me with that, but Star Trek for sure. Yeah.
I did buy the starter decks for those, but just the normal starter decks, not Commander.
So my favorite thing about the Lord of the Rings set is the amount of love you can tell that the designers put into it, like in the card design and how they got like the feeling of certain cards and certain characters and stuff. But the one thing that made me just it's like I have to find a picture of the card. Haste in Magic is a keyword that means you can attack, or your creature can go sideways the turn it comes in. But
No
it
summoning
is
sickness, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it is one of the keywords that they consider like eternalized because it's been around for so long. Everyone knows what haste does, so they don't ever put any rules text like explaining what haste does. But when they brought out Shadowfax, I put it in the chat here.
Nah.
Horsing control of
I
haste,
know where this is going.
because Shadowfax shows you the meaning of haste, which just I was like, oh god, this is amazing. So
That's
I was very happy to
hilarious.
see that. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, is that actually a line from the books or is that just from the movie? I think that's just from the movie. Ian, confirm?
That seems.
like you're the biggest Tolkien head
I'm
here.
pretty sure that's a movie thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, thought they almost got me with the Doctor Who decks. I love David Tennant and Matt Smith's Doctor Who. They almost got me.
Besides my friends bringing me in to play again because I'd sworn off Magic for a while, Fallout, the Fallout decks brought me back. Those were fantastic. Dan mentioned in the chat that Magic has jumped the Sharknado at this point. Yeah, man, it's like the amount of
They're
stuff
going hard on the
bringing
licenses.
Oh man, and I don't know. I don't know if I like it or not because there's licenses and I'm like, oh, this is super fun. Other ones I'm like, I don't really care for this. And I know the super like Magic fans are not liking it because like Magic had lore, Magic had story, it had its own universes, and it just feels like they're throwing all these licenses in, but at the same time, it's like, well, those could just be different planes, just as Magic.
Hey man, the multiverse is in. It's
right?
in right now.
Yeah. Yeah, out of 7 sets slated for next year, 4 are not set in Magic. So like over half are.
Oh my god, they do 7 sets a year. I just fucking comprehended the numbers that were thrown out. 7 sets a year.
Some of the sets are smaller, like they would consider Fallout a set, but it didn't have actual set. It was 4 commander decks plus some extra cards.
Oh, okay.
But
well,
they used to do
buying 4 commander decks is like $150, isn't it?
More than that, yeah.
Or more?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking of Canadian, but
different financial analysts have straight up said we are concerned about this. Like it could oversaturate, and people keep buying, and it works. But I mean, the numbers in financial models don't add up. For at some point, people will get tapped out.
There's only so many whales in the ocean.
Yeah, Schulze mentions too, and this is true. It's not just booster boxes; it's booster boxers, commander decks, collector boosters, which are like it's a booster box of 12 packs that are all foil, and it's like some of those boxes like it's $400 for 12 packs. Like,
yes,
but there's chase
Unlimited
cards in there.
Took that note.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, carbonite boxes is what they call them, which bully on the name, but it's like $325 MSRP, which is wild for a game that doesn't quite have the network strength of Magic.
Yeah, but yeah, competitive Commander is super fun. You have to be in the right mindset for it. It's not for everybody, but it is super cutthroat, and I absolutely love it. And like the stack, right? Like when there's all these abilities and stuff like that. I was in one game and there was 26 things on the stack because it was just like abilities and cards and now it's like we actually laid the cards out and had to write pieces of paper on what's interacting with which, because everyone's like, someone's going for a win and I want to stop them, but if I stop them then I'll be vulnerable, so I need you to do this, and there's like all this, and I absolutely love the politics of it too, where you're like trying to convince people like, hey, like if you help me out here, blah, blah, blah. Oh god, it's so good.
My working memory would short out so fast with that.
It takes a lot of mental effort. It's
I am glad you found something you love, and that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
I'm not. Quit playing Magic and come play something other than Magic.
I play other things than Magic. Helldivers, come on, let's do it.
Honestly, I do need to reinstall that. It's been long enough that there's probably like a ton of new stuff to see.
There is tons. Yes. Cool. There's cities now. You can fight in cities. And we actually had to fight on Super Earth. Like the Illuminate came to Super Earth. So you're fighting like in streets and like skyscrapers and stuff. And now the Terminated Terminated worlds now have cave systems. And there was just a leaked thing where the next what do they call them? The packages of new stuff or whatever, they're gonna start having covert missions where the Super Destroyer doesn't stay in orbit above you. Like you get dropped, you get 1 minute to call your stuff in, and then it leaves, and you can call it back 3 times.
And then you procure on site.
Yeah, and so like, and then you're getting suppressed weapons and armor that makes you quieter. So it's going to be like stuff where you have to like sneak around without orbital supports and stuff.
Ooh, I love that actually.
Like stealth
missions.
Yeah. So.
Okay. All right.
Come on back.
I'm sold.
Come on back.
I'll reinstall it.
All right.
And then crossplay still works for that, right? Because I think I only have that on PlayStation. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's on Xbox
Excellent.
too now.
Wonderful. Well, any others from anyone?
I just have one last one on mine. I have been playing around a little bit with AI music. And I will throw this out there because I have some strong caveats around there. I am not claiming to be a musician. I am not doing any of it for commercial use. I think there are tremendous problems with AI music. It is a hobby thing I am doing on the side. So just clarifying that for anyone who is also in that camp. But it has been really fun to see what the technology can do. A little scary too, as most of the generative AI stuff is. But yeah, it's been real fun. I am even I'm putting together an Arkham Horror themed musical with it, because you can.
AI musical episode confirmed.
It's been really crazy to see what it can do. I hope they find a way to better compensate the people whose like art is being used in the training of it. Like, I want to be very clear on that. I also feel pretty good about it because I invest quite heavily with my hobby money in the local music scene. So just again, for anybody who has hesitation about it. But the other thing that I did not appreciate it for enough until my wife pointed out to me is it has been a heavy year for us over in our household for a variety of reasons I won't go into here. But I was using it to process trauma. Like, didn't even realize I was creating lyrics and stuff for a song, and then I'm not a musician, so it was doing it. And then all of a sudden it would just like click, and then I was like, I didn't realize I was fully writing a song about that thing. And so I told my wife this, and she just goes, "Oh, really? It's helping you with that?" I'm like, okay, you saw it first, I admit it. But yeah. So anyway, it's just kind of a neat thing, and when the musical's ready, I will share it.
I do. Can I give the one preview of the one that you shared in our group chat that one time?
So separate from the musical.
Oh, this is separate from
that.
Okay.
That is not even part of it. But yes, I was super proud of the other thing. But yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. So because Scarlet Keys is going to be on the menu for next year's con for Iron Man, that was on our minds, and Justin managed to use AI to do an actual like parody cover of "Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego," but for La Chica Roja, and it's better than it has any right to be, being AI music.
We'll share that at some point too, but
we'll pop it in the patron chat.
Well, there we go. Yeah, that was the last one on my list.
Wonderful. Anyone else?
All good.
Last call? No? All right. Wonderful. Well, hey, guys, it is so great to be back. I'm very excited for our near future here, where we kind of get back into the swing of things and get to do some new stuff and just kind of get to be involved and engaged again. And boy, I'd complained about it earlier, but it is a good time to be hopping back in. I could have had just one more week of time difference. I would have been better with it, but it's fine. It's fine. Chapter 2 starting, and that's super exciting. So check us out next week. I'm not sure when this will be posted to the RSS, the podcast RSS. So if you're hearing this on the podcast RSS, might be a little bit late, but we have a card preview from the new Chapter 2 core that will be streaming on Twitch, so check us out there, and obviously check out the VOD, or, well, I mean, if you're on the podcast RSS, we'll be putting it there too, so just stay tuned for that. And yeah, just another big thanks to all of our listeners, and specifically, particularly patrons, and boy, guys, that will do it for tonight on this episode of Mythos Busters, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.